Hi. Hi, Soul Fam. This is Astrologer Penny Dix, and I had a slight tech issue at that point when I was pressing on the button and nothing was happening. And I was just reading Ivy's comment that tech stuff has been difficult. This is Aquarius. This is Pluto, Mars, Venus, but I'm going to talk about all of this, so don't worry. Let's just see what some of the words that are coming up, because health, restlessness, tech, it's definitely been a tough week, been really sick the whole week. Oh gosh, so knowing what to do first. So basically, it sounds like a lot of you have been overwhelmed. Would that be a pretty kind of general idea of how the week's been? Feeling on edge. Okay, Mimini. Overwhelmed. Okay. And this overwhelm, I think, was due to last week's energies, especially the energies towards the end of the week. Remember, we've got Pluto, our planet of transformation, our planet of personal empowerment, in the sign of Aquarius. Aquarius is about technology. It's about the bigger picture. Aquarius is about, it's higher frequencies. And yeah, maybe to a certain extent, Aquarius can present us in that larger picture a sense of overwhelm. I've got cat hairs all over me, as usual, but I've always got cat hairs somewhere floating around up my nose, in my eyes. So, overwhelm. I can certainly resonate with that, because there were moments last week when I was feeling particularly overwhelmed by just so much stuff going on. And it sounds like some of you, or maybe a lot of you, have had a lot of stuff going on that has overwhelmed you. And, I think when we're overwhelmed, we are stepping into an area of ourselves where we are losing confidence, where we are losing that sense of being in touch with our personal self-esteem, our personal self-value. We are feeling powerless. And if you think of the whole energy of Pluto in Aquarius, it's about finding our personal power. But the problem is, Pluto is one of the outer planets, even though it's a very small planet. So it's classed as a dwarf planet, and it nearly lost its whole planet status. We've all been down that path. We nearly lost Pluto completely in a kind of scientific and astrological sense. And so overwhelm is not going to be our word of the week, because I think it neatly leads in to the word of the week that I have been considering. Because if I tell you just briefly, the energies of this week, which I will go through, are pretty kind of balanced and fair. There is nothing too much, certainly in the first half of the week, that we need to be concerned about. And also we have a full moon next Saturday. So don't forget, we are in that energy leading up to the full moon in Virgo on the 24th. but I'll come to that in a minute. Let me just check some of your chat. Maggie Wilson, you're a Scorpio with your Mars in Aquarius. Things are bound to improve. Whoa, so you've had, Maggie, you've had, or haven't had yet, but you'll have had a Mars return at some point. So, or Mars return is coming. Yep, Jen, small but mighty, and that is Pluto. So let me just tell you what was happening last week. We had Mars conjunct Pluto. We saw the shooting in Kansas at the parade. That is a typical kind of acting out, very sadly, of that kind of energy. I think we have to be grateful that there has been nothing in the short term more serious than that, because Mars conjunct Pluto can bring really, really quite, let's put it this way, challenging events. My sense was that it would be good to stay away from busy places. That still holds true a bit. Stay away from busy places or crowds in airports and that nature of things, because remember, Aquarius is also about aviation. So it means that that kind of energy is around. The other thing, which I think was incredibly sad and just shows the depravity that some nations are dropping to, was the unexpected, or rather maybe not unexpected, demise of the Russian dissident and opponent to President Putin. So I'm not going to say his name because the chat listens, bots listen, and you know, I'll get bots coming on the chat and trying to get in there and undermine what I want to talk about. So we don't want that. And, you know, that was very sad. It really upset me. It was almost as if I took it deeply personally. I just was like, good God, what is happening to this planet, to the people on it? When are we going to wake up? When are we going to grow? When are we going to learn? Now, this all leads neatly into, and Jem, have your pen and pencil ready, because this leads neatly into our word for the week. And this is another big week, but I think it's a perfect week to talk about the word authenticity. So you may not have expected me to come out with that word. Jem, good, you're ready. So authenticity is a word that can get bandied around, a word that can get undermined and abused, used in a way that is completely unauthentic. But what actually does being authentic mean? Because how much or how little is our planet and the people on it being authentic? You know, it brings us back to, and I always sound like I'm Bible bashing when I come out with some of these statements from the Bible, but you know, those guys had it right. Love thy neighbor as thyself. But if you don't love yourself, how can you love thy neighbor? And how can you be authentic? I think to be authentic means you live in your own truth. You have to, it's quite a difficult state to attain. To attain it in its purity, in its pure form of congruence, which means it is the true self, the true you. No facade, no ego, no kind of narcissism. So what I'm going to do here is not get distracted by the chat at this point. I will look at the end and come back and answer some of the comments and the questions. But yes, consequence or congruence and reintegration. Thank you, Maggie Wilson. But let's come back to the word authentic, authenticity. We can be authentic in public. We can show that we're being authentic or congruent or real, speaking our truth. But what are we like when the lights go off, the camera switches off, the public aren't there? What are we like then? You know, I'm really aware of people I have come across, and I'm not talking about something that's happened kind of recently, not at all. What I'm talking about is people that I come across that go out there into the public domain and are sweetness and light, and then they come off and behind the scenes they are bitching, criticizing, undermining, blaming. Now, why does one have to get into that kind of energy? You see, this says everything about the person who is blaming, criticizing, making fun of, judging, all of those kind of words. And at some point, I will come to all of those words over the next weeks, and we will have them as a word of the week. You know, to be authentic with yourself in private is a big deal. And it's not hard to achieve if we are true to ourselves. But it is hard to achieve if behind the scenes we lose that authenticity and get into criticizing, condemning, running down, making fun of. The energy, the frequency drops. And then what happens is we're not actually working with the law of attraction in a way that keeps us on a high frequency. Because what we will get are people behind their scenes saying, oh, that woman, she thinks she's this or she thinks she's that. What's she going on about? You will get the criticism because you see, the thing is, we know we're actually all the same. And we know when people are being authentic and true to themselves and when they're not. Some people, however, are good actors, or in the olden days when I was in the acting business, called actresses. But now we are all actors. And yes, I am an actor. But the part I'm playing is me. The part I'm playing is my true self. Because if I can't give that and show that to you, why am I bothering? Why am I here? What good is it doing any of you? Then in that case, I'm not actually valuing you. Does this make sense? You know, because if I'm in this for the money, let's put it that way, you pick that up on an unsaid, unknown, unconscious frequency. And you will know, and you will think, she's good, she's nice, she's kind, but she's not very real. How many people have you come across like this in your lives, in your working life? You know, they put on the smile. Hi, lovely to see you. How are you? How you doing? Oh, sorry you're not doing so well. And then behind the scenes, she's not doing very well. Oh, that makes me happy. Oh, I can't even act that energy because it betrays me. And when we are not authentic, we are betraying our true selves. We are betraying our soul. We are betraying each other. To live your truth. You know, I'm going to go back to the Bible again because I sound like a Bible basher. I say, it's a Sunday. We have to have a sermon. So I'm giving my sermon. But, you know, Jesus lived his true, authentic self right up to the end. He didn't like his ending because he got condemned for living his authenticity and for saying, don't you realize I am you and you are me? So he got this criticism because they didn't get him. They didn't understand where he was coming from. They didn't understand that actually what he was saying was, we're all a cell of the great divine mind, the divine intelligence, whatever name you want to assign to your God. And I do sound like I'm giving a sermon now. Believe me, I'm not. I don't want to do that. What I want to do is try and do my little bit, put my little piece into the world about the need for us to be authentic, to be true, to be our truth. And then behind that, to be just love. We don't have to send life and go, oh, lots of love to you, love, 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 love and light, love and light, love and light. What does that mean? What does that mean? Love and light, love and light. Doesn't mean anything. Doesn't mean diddly squid. Where's the frequency in that? Where's the feeling? Where's the emotion? If you are love, if you are love yourself, if you love you, if you love your authentic self, which I've reached a point now where I realized I do love my authentic self, warts and all. I'm not saying I'm perfect, so don't misunderstand this. I'm not perfect by any means, and I'm human. And being human is what gives us our faults, and we get things wrong at times. And of course, sometimes I react instead of responding to a situation. Of course, I'm aware of my humanity. And sometimes it's really hard. You think you're in a group, say you go out with the girls and you're having a little group evening, and the girl that isn't there, the one that hasn't showed up, gets talked about. That always makes me personally very uncomfortable because they're not there to defend themselves in any form or other. And what we do is just make valued judgments. That's not being authentic. If you hear some crackling in the background, it's one of my cats, it's Spoticus, whose birthday is soon on the 6th of March, who is crunching biscuits, making his point that I haven't fed them yet. So you see, I have my failings. So, okay, AMD, I am going to read your comment. That is your superpower. You know when you hear someone coming out of hermit mode, you've been shutting down every single person who's putting out negative energy, period, even in your own home. Yes. Spoticus, yes. Well, he's spotty. He looks like a Frisian cow. I should have called him Daisy. Leah, you're having to parent yourself more than ever. You're 51. Don't worry. I'm still doing it at 68. But actually, you know what? I can now be my parent and my child simultaneously. I have integrated those parts of myself. And it's been a long, hard process. I'm not saying I'm not going to slip back, because I'm human. So I know that we slip back. Yeah, Maggie, when we are our true selves, people don't like us very much, because what we present to them is a mirror. And that mirror is uncomfortable. Because if you say to someone, that's not very kind that you're saying those things about whatever her name is, you know, maybe she's struggling, maybe she's this. We find the reasons why that person might be behaving like that. Why don't you sit down and talk to her and say, how can I help? Can I do anything to help you raise your frequency? That's what these lives are about. And I guess that's why you're here. You're here to raise your frequency, to learn. We're all learning. I'm learning too. I'm learning each week from you about how to proceed with these lives. And I know I haven't even talked about the astrology of the week ahead yet. And I am going to do that. And I just want to read Andy's comment. You held your administrator accountable for something a few years ago, and she turned it on me and told me I was a bully and no one likes me. Okay, cool, but let's still address the issues here. Exactly. Do you know what I am working really hard at? I've had one or two issues with a few people, and it really doesn't matter who they are. But within those particular situations, something had to give, something had to change. And I was determined that it would be that beyond the putting on the big girl pants and facing the problem, beyond that, there would be a relationship that could still happen and be built upon. And that is my claim to success this week. That is Venus conjunct Pluto yesterday, Saturday. And this week we have a lovely conjunction of Mars conjunct Pluto in Aquarius. Did you like that little segue? Away from authenticity, which I'm going to give you, Jem, at the end, the little sentence, but it is the word for the week, authenticity. I want you to go around. I want you to think about it. I want you to think, do I live in my true, authentic self? Where do I allow myself to fall into moaning or complaining or blaming or judging? I'm going to challenge and tackle all these words over the next few weeks, because if we can master all of this, if just us, our little group, our soul fam, learn about these things and change. You know, this is almost like a kind of group therapy. And, you know, if you guys keep turning up, you keep showing up. So I have to presume I'm doing something okay. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here. And thank you, Maggie. Yes, I'm so grateful for this group. Shirley, yes, yes. Oh, Andy, how's lovely your Sunday morning church. It's my Sunday evening service to others. And you know, that's the problem with the majority of the religious traditions. They've got the hierarchy, they've got the balance wrong. I am equal with all of you guys. I'm just the same as as you guys. I just happen to be the one that has kind of self-nominated myself to be a spokesperson for all of us, to talk about these things and to help do what Pluto in Aquarius is asking all of us to do, which is transform and become the powerful beings that we can be. Because okay, Andy, I've just stopped to read your comment. Yes, what I'm going to do is weave in the astrology now, because I think it's so important, and I think it kind of, because it brings in the cosmic, it brings in the cosmic energy, it brings in these higher frequencies of Aquarius, because at the moment the moon is in Gemini, which is probably why I'm waxing lyrical. All my thoughts are flowing, and I've got no boundaries with it. I'm just out it comes, and I've talked for nearly half an hour, as I always do. Have any of you watched Uranus yet? I tried to watch it today. I thought, good God, this is long. Do I ever shut up? And I have to say, and I'm going to be completely honest, some of the first part where I'm talking about Uranus, I wish I'd speeded it up a bit. And I can be very self-critical. So I'm going to tell you, I wish I had speeded it up a bit. And I wish, there's a bit I missed out. I missed out, unless I fell asleep, the mythology of Uranus. And I'm annoyed with myself about that. And, you know, I'm waxing lyrical about God knows what. And the signs, the actual individual signs, I got my attention again. But I have to say, the beginning part, there were parts of it, well, I listened to it in bed this morning. I woke up, put it on, it promptly sent me back to sleep. And I slept for 2 hours like a baby. So, yeah, Shirley, do it in 2 parts. You definitely have to do it in 2 parts. Yeah, Andy, the first 30 minutes were brilliant. Oh, thank you. I'm not saying this to get compliments, because it's just I've learned from it, because I want to keep them tighter. So the next one that I do, which is Saturn, I'm going to keep it tighter, boundaried, because that's what Saturn's about. But let's look at the week ahead, because today the moon is in Gemini and it's waxing gibbous. Well, of course it's waxing gibbous because we're heading towards a full moon. And that full moon is in Virgo next Saturday. So I am going to spend a little bit of time talking about the full moon. Now, tomorrow, Monday, now today's been all right with the energy. I've actually, because it's Gemini, I've got quite a lot done. I've actually talked to a huge amount of people for long periods of time, and I only just got ready. The whole day I've been talking, and I only just got ready in time to do this live, which is kind of quite extraordinary. And so, oh, I like that. See me. You watch these throughout the week, maybe 3 or 4 times. My God, some of you really are gluttons for punishment. My God. Yes, absolutely, AMD. There are some good things in the Bible. It was manipulated. This was the patriarchy. It's manipulated us. It's about power and this. And, you know, it's just destroyed the original essence and energy and frequency of our divine connection to the divine. And so we've had to create our individual ways of connecting with the divine in the way that it was meant. It's meant to be free. It's meant to be authentic. What is authentic about the majority of religions? I don't know enough about every single religion, so I can't comment, but it makes you think, doesn't it? Tomorrow, let's talk about tomorrow, Monday the 19th. The moon will have moved into Cancer and it's waxing gibbous. And tomorrow, the sun moves into Pisces. So if you have a birthday tomorrow, happy birthday, Pisces. And my little kitty cat, Spoticus, who's going to be, I think it was 5 or 6 this year. I think I can't remember, 5 or 6. Anyway, he was born on March the 6th. So he's having a birthday because he was born in this apartment. And they have religion as a corporation in America. Yeah, exactly. And yeah. You know, that's why, and I've talked about Florence Scovel Shinn before. Florence Scovel Shinn lived at the beginning of the 20th century, and she wrote the book The Game of Life and How to Play It in 1926. Her take on the Bible, I think, is spot on. It's authentic. And you know, I'm going to write a book. I keep saying this, and I'm going to stop putting it into the future and say, I am writing a book because I'm already living it in myself. And there is so much that is going to go into it. It may have a bit of astrology in it. It'll certainly have a lot of self-development, and it will have a lot of the myths about the law of attraction demythed, or, you know, demystified. It needs to come down to earth. It needs to be on the frequency of love, and somewhere that's got missed out. So I am writing my book, and you know what? I've already started making notes, so I'm going to add to them a bit later, even if it's just one sentence or one word, so that I'm telling myself I'm in the process of writing it. So tomorrow, the sun enters Pisces. Then on Tuesday, the moon is in Cancer and it's still waxing gibbous, and nothing else is happening. And then on Wednesday, the 21st, the moon is in Cancer, and then later in the day, it moves into Leo, waxing gibbous. Now, I will tell you here, because you know I overshare, but that's what I do. On Wednesday, I found out yesterday I'm to have this angiogram. And am I worried about it? On one level, a little bit anxious. However, if it hadn't been for my smartwatch telling me I was suffering from small amounts of atrial fibrillation, I wouldn't have gone to the cardiologist. I wouldn't be having this angiogram. And I might have bypassed all of this to back surgery, which would not perhaps have been a good thing without doing the research around my heart. So the long and the short of it is if there is any issue with my heart, which hopefully there isn't, the surgery would have to be delayed for about a year. Isn't that interesting? I found it super interesting. And anyway, it's on Wednesday. The moon is in Cancer. And I know that the angiogram is in our morning, CET, it's at 10 o'clock in the morning. So that's 9 o'clock GMT. And the moon will be in Cancer till it goes into Leo. Leo, it goes in about, I think it's about 2:30, 3 o'clock. Now, if the moon was in Leo when I was having the angiogram, it wouldn't be so good because Leo rules the heart. So basically, the moon in Cancer is okay. There's no reason why I should be concerned. So that's okay. So anyway, that's what's happening Wednesday. Now then Thursday, so that's just for you to know. And also because I've had to email, you might be watching, a couple of clients to change your appointments. Apologies for that. I didn't know till yesterday. I haven't got round to doing the emails till late today. And if what I've suggested doesn't work, we'll find another date, don't worry. So that's what, thank you, Jem. Yes, I'm sure it'll be fine. I'm on a list of about probably, I don't know, 6 or 7 others that he'll be doing. And I'm just, going, it's going to be like a conveyor belt, boom, 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 boom. So I've got to get up really early to go to Malta. And I've organised a car and everything, so I've got all that sorted out. And my lovely friend is going to come with me. The lady I told you is working on her new branding for her hypnotherapy business. And I will tell you where her website is when it's up and running. But at the moment, it's going through a rebrand. So that's why I'm not telling you about that. I've got lots of things to tell you about, but it's not the right timing. Everything in life is about timing. And that's why, my Apple Watch timed me and told me, oh, episode of atrial fibrillation. I think it's fascinating. And you know what? It shows me I'm being looked after by upstairs. And by that, I mean the divine. The divine does have my back, like it has your backs too. Okay? And so because of all of that, oh, bless you, Andy, all will be well. Your heart is gold. Bless you. Well, I think there's a little bit of calcification of the arteries. Hopefully it's not too bad. We will see. I will let you know. I'll let you know in next week's live, but I will be here for that, so don't worry. I've had to move some people on Thursday as well because I've been told I will have to rest. So apologies for that. So let's move on to Thursday the 22nd, when the moon is in Leo, waxing gibbous, and Venus, our lovely planet of love and relationship and being attractive and feeling good about oneself, is conjunct Mars, our planet of action, energy, sexuality, in Aquarius. So I'm going to go to the chart now. If I was clever enough, technologically wise, I would. Someone said tech's been going funny this week. I don't know. Tech just tech is tech, isn't it? So I've got it in front of me, but I can't put it up to show you because I just haven't worked that out yet. It's probably terribly simple. I'm just too frightened. I think if I press that, something will go wrong and it'll all disappear. So the moon that day is in Leo, and what's interesting is the moon is in opposition to the Venus-Mars conjunction in Aquarius. So Venus and Mars are conjunct at 6 degrees. The moon is in Leo at 8 degrees. And by Saturday, of course, it's moved into Virgo in the very early degrees of Virgo, and it will be opposite Mercury that will have moved into Pisces, and the Sun and Saturn. So let's unpack this, because this energy is going to set the tone for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and into the full moon. It's good energy because Venus-Mars conjunct is great, first of all, for relationships. And it doesn't have to just be male-female relationships. This can be any relationship, including business relationships. So this is really, really good energy. And, you know, if you wanted to meet someone new, depending on where you are in your life, this would be great energy. But it's also great energy for transformation and personal empowerment within the relationship you're in, being authentic with each other. Do you ever have that conversation with your partner if you have one? How authentic are we with each other? Are we honest with each other? Do we show each other our authenticity? Do we show each other our truth? Do we show each other that we are love? That we don't just have to go, love you, love you, love you, love you, love you, bye, 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 love you, love you, love you. You know, how many times we have to say it? Because actually, when it's said, you know, there are some people, and I'm thinking of somebody in my life who has said it once to me, but that once of it being said was so meaningful and meant so much. And it lasts, and it is lasting a lifetime. And, you know, because when something is meant, it is authentic and it's meant. And we don't have to keep unpacking or unpicking the pattern that has been knitted or sewn. We can, you know, often what we do is we keep going back and unpicking the stitches of this beautiful tapestry of our life that is unfolding cosmically, that is unfolding if we allow it through our authenticity, through our ability to live our own truth, to be love, to live love. We don't have to give it. We don't have to keep saying it. Because, you know, if somebody is love, it shows. It shows, because this is about a complete state of no ego, a complete state of no narcissism, a complete state of self-truth and honesty, which leads us back to the authenticity. And if we don't get back to that, you think of a baby when it's born. It doesn't have any of this negative kind of trauma pumped into it, said to it, kind of jammed into it. It's just who it is. It's love. It's its authentic self. It's almost like from day 2 onwards, it learns to lose that, because mummy and daddy can't read and understand its needs on time. Mummy and daddy or caregiver don't come on time when it's crying, or don't let it rest, don't let it have space. I shouldn't call a baby it, my apologies. But thank you, Maggie. Spirit wants us joyful again. Yeah. I had a wonderful, I've talked about her before, a friend of mine who was like a kind of spiritual mentor, Caroline, who used to live in Gozo, and she's moved back to England. But she just used to say, my mentor, my spiritual mentor just said, be happy. That's what life's about. Be happy. And, you know, I have someone who always says to me, you know, just be happy, have happy times. And, you know, when we live in that state of authenticity and flip, we have to flip the negativity. And we have to be with friends who get us and will grow with us and will flip and help us flip our energy and see when we start going back down, say, like I was with a friend yesterday, and I said, oh, this angiogram, I'm a bit scared, and what if, and what if? And she just went, stop it. Stop. And I went, yeah, you're right, sorry. Or not sorry, I'm not sorry, but thank you for reminding me to not be that, to not go back down to that frequency of fear. And, you know, it's not easy to stay away from fear. Fear comes at us in so many ways, in so many forms. Through our bank account. You know, that's an easy one to scare us. Through our health, through many things. So, you know, to live our true, authentic self, if, you know, supposing this week we just all make a conscious effort to be authentic, to be congruent, to be true, to be real, to not bitch about others behind their back. And mostly when we are alone and private, to keep that high frequency going. To not just think, I'm on my own, nobody will know, and go, God, that woman drives me mad. What we have to do is say, wow, she must be going through a really rough time. I may not be the one to help her, but I do hope she finds her way back to the frequency that she needs to be on, which is higher and more in tune with her authenticity. Why can't we do that? And let's do it. Let's do this. Let's all do this. That way, you know, if, like I've said before, we are a small group. It doesn't matter. It's quality, not quantity. And, excuse me, what we have to do is be the change we want to make. And lots of people say this, lots of teachers say this, but if we don't live the change we want to be, you know, you often see these guru types who behind the scenes are, you know, in public, they're totally vegan and totally holier than thou and totally godly or whatever their particular line of thought is. And then behind the scenes, they're nipping into McDonald's for a Big Mac, stuffing it down and hoping no one will see them. We have to be true to ourselves when we're in private. And that's, yes, see me, check yourself. We get cranky, you snap back instantly. Why are you acting as such? Just use it as a mirror. Because when we get that, when we react, the thing is, this is actually mindfulness. When we react, we have to remember to respond and not react. Yes, man in the mirror, man in the mirror. But, you know, coming back to Thursday and this energy where we've got this Mars-Venus conjunction, you know, it's still widely conjunct Pluto. So you can work in some wonderful transformations in your close personal relationships. It's also squared by Jupiter in Taurus. Now, that doesn't have to be bad. That's almost like setting a kind of, these are challenges. If there are challenges in your close personal relationships, take a big deep breath. And as I've said, big girl pants or big boy pants, and we approach it and we take hold of our courage and we go, I need to make some personal changes, or whatever the take is that you've got. How can we do this? It's like, how do we do this in a win-win situation? How do we make sure that we don't lose our friendship, our love, our relationship? It's all grown-up stuff, but this is what it's about. And that Jupiter in Taurus is saying, I've got you, I'm on your side, but don't let it expand into something negative. Try and stay with the mindfulness of responding and not reacting. And look at why there are some relationships you won't face, or you choose to just walk away from. We can even think back to the past. And oh my God, I cringe sometimes when I think how I've dealt so badly with personal relationships. I've wanted to get my bit out. Let me say my bit. I've said my bit, and without any thought of how that affects the other. Before we speak, we need to think, how am I affecting you? I have to think when I'm doing these lives, how am I affecting my watchers, my listeners, my viewers? Because if we don't, we're in big trouble. We really are in big trouble. So we have to slow down. We've got Saturn in Pisces. Saturn is actually sextiling Jupiter in Taurus, and it will come up to actually sextile it fully. It's not this week, it's the week after. So, or is it this week? Where are we? No, it's this 22nd, 23rd, 24th. No, sorry, it's after the full moon. So it will come up to square, Saturn will come up to 10 degrees and it will square Jupiter, sextile Jupiter at 10 degrees. So there is a way out of this conundrum with the Mars-Venus stuff and the relationship stuff. So this is a week to just, even if you just think about the pros and cons of relationships. How can I make my relationships better? How can I make them more congruent? And sometimes we have to recognize when it is time to let go and move on. And that is difficult. But that's usually because we're on different frequencies. And it doesn't mean one is better and one is worse. We're just on different frequencies. Their path, my path. Because what we have to do is make sure that we don't think, oh, I'm moving up and I'm above, I'm high, I'm up here. No. We are all on this kind of plate of time, moving around. We're just moving around. We're like a network, an interlocking internet, an emotional internet. There's a book called Entangled Mind. I think it's by an author called Michael Talbot, I think. I might have got that wrong. If I've got it wrong, apologies to whoever Michael Talbot is. But I will find it and I will put it on a comment in the description box, because that book talks a lot about all these different frequencies. And if you think of the literal internet that we have designed, the emotional internet is like these frequencies that we are all entangled with. Once you have connected with a person and touched them physically, you are bound on an energetic level with that person forever. You think of all the people in your life you shook hands with and never seen again. You are still connected on this emotional internet, this web, this huge, massive, ginormous emotional internet. So the tangled mind, no, it's not that one. No, I think it could be entangled mind. But can you look up The Entangled Mind, Andy or Jem, and just see who the author is? Because that name just came to me. But while we're still on talking about the astrology, Friday, so the day after, Mercury has moved swiftly through Aquarius. Remember, it was only a couple of weeks ago. Our planet of communication was conjunct Pluto, bringing in interesting news. And Mercury moves into Pisces on Friday. So we are gradually, the energy is shifting from Aquarius and an air sign and a fixed sign and a very high frequency sign into a sign that has even higher frequencies. Dean Radin. I wonder who Michael Talbot is. Maybe somebody could Google him. Yes, Entangled Mind is Dean Radin. Yes, absolutely spot on. Brilliant book, written quite a long time ago, but it's really, it absolutely, I think I read it like this. Someone's having tech issues. AMD, you're having tech issues. Is that with this? Or is it with the live? Or just in general? Let me know, AMD. But, you know, Saturday, we have the full moon in Virgo because, of course, holographic realities, Michael Talbot. Thank you. Okay, they're both for you. Right. Ancient mysticism and quantum mechanics. Yeah, I mean, absolutely fascinating. In fact, it's making me want to go back and reread them because they are, yours keeps freezing and the sound is crackly. My apologies. It could be, I don't know what solar activity is going on, because solar activity can cause the crackling, the freezing, the internet issues. It'll be interesting when I watch this back a bit later to see if the actual recording that gets done by YouTube is yes, no, okay, AMD, no worries. Yeah, catch up later because it's so frustrating if you can't see it. It's the live, okay, crackling. Sometimes it helps if you close down everything on any device you've got and just leave this one open. I close down everything on all my devices, so there is nothing open on them except my notes and my Google Chrome. So, and Jem, everything is okay there. See me, thank you. It's my magnetic personality. My magnetic, authentic personality. Thank you so much. Yes, all the windows, like you said last week. Yes, you just have to close everything and it does make a difference. See me. Yes. Listen, so Saturday we have this full moon. You know, I'm going to go over the hour again, don't you? Because I haven't given the sentence of the week yet. But we've got a full moon in Virgo. The Sun and Mercury and Saturn are conjunct this in Pisces and opposite the full moon in Virgo. I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about the full moon because I've got my separate video out about it. Do check it out. All the individual zodiac signs are time stamped. And remember, we've got both Pluto and Uranus now as the series, two of the planets of the series of planets for the outer planets. So they are there. And what else did I want to say? I'm going to go to the thought of the week, because this gem, are you ready, honey? Okay. It'll be interesting to see if the recording is crackling. Yes, Kirsty, I hopefully not. Let's hope not. So this is the sentence for the week. Always live your truth. Live your authenticity in public and in private. And that means when you're completely on your own. I don't know. I'll say that sentence again just for your benefit, Jem. Always live your truth. Live your authenticity in public and in private. And, you know, what I was going to say is, I don't know, there are, maybe because of the fact I've been a therapist for so many years. So many years I can't even remember. I mean, my training I started when I was 28. And before that, I had done counselling courses, and I even did a pastoral care and counselling course at a place called Richmond Fellowship, which actually was really helpful. It was a really good introduction to counselling. And I've been in therapy since I was about 17 because I wanted to work out life, and I couldn't work it out. I didn't understand life, me, who I was. Now I do. And yes, I know I'm only 68, and there will still be a lot more that I'm going to learn, because what's happened for me at the moment is I've reached a bit of a plateau, and I know I'm going to learn so much more when I go through the angiogram on Wednesday and face whatever that brings up. And if the surgery on my back goes ahead, I'm going to learn so much about myself through that. But what I have learned in the last few weeks is that actually I've always lived my authentic self to the best of my ability, because I don't know any other way. And when you've been in therapy this is why personal therapy is so important for any of you. I know it's expensive, but you know what they say, money that's spent on the self is never wasted. Money that is spent on self-development is never, ever wasted. It is an investment. I think there's something where they say you need to invest a third of your income in your personal self-development. And I've probably invested a lot more than that. But it's been worth it, and it's probably prevented me taking an awful lot of wrong turns in my life, even though there have been a lot of, well, let's say not wrong turns, but turns that led me down paths that were huge lessons, huge learning curves. Andy, you've also invested, and it is so necessary. And you know, it notices with people. And I do find it difficult to have friendships or relationships with people that have not done some work on themselves, because there's like some whole gap, some whole bit that is missing. It's not a criticism. It's not a criticism. It's just people that don't are in a very different place, and they're living their lives from a very different perspective. And it's not a perspective that I can resonate with anymore. I'm tuned in to a frequency of authenticity and truth. And I've been tuned into that for a long, long time. And over this last week, this word has come to me and it's kept coming. And I kept thinking, yeah, I want to start doing this, because you remember last week I talked about joy. And where is the joy? You know, if we're not having joy in what we're doing, why are we doing it? And I'm just going to organically discover which word, what word comes up for me in the week ahead, for what word we use for next week. Because I just think it's such an important thing to do. But astrologically, just coming back to that, because then I'm just going to quickly skim through your chat. But cosmically, this week is quite an easy week. In fact, it should be quite an awesome week. The difficult bit was that Mars conjunct Pluto. Yes, we still have a little bit of that energy around, and we could still see eruptions, political eruptions, volatility in our dangerous areas of the world. We could still see bad weather conditions, earth movement, earthquakes, volcanic eruptions. That could still be around with this energy. So, you know, but cosmically in general, this week is an easier week, because I think some of you were saying at the beginning that last week was quite a difficult week. And I'm just going to start looking through your chat. So AMD, you're saying your throat chakra feels so closed and causing you high anxiety. Right. The high anxiety is something you're not being honest with about yourself. It's something you've got to deal with, to face. First of all, you're not being present. You're not trusting the flow. So that's one thing you have to do. And, oh, Christine, I am so sorry. I've just read your chat. You've just lost your beloved cat to an unexpected sudden seizure. That happened to me once with one of mine. Oh my God, that is devastating. I just really know how that feels. And, you know, what can I say? My love to you, my condolences, my depth of empathy, because that is just awful, awful. And let me just look through. Andy, you took time off and did a deep dive. Well done, but continue to do it. We can't, you know, I hate to say it, 2 years doesn't cut it. We have to keep cutting it. We have to keep cutting another slice of the cake. Thank you, Simi, sending love and prayers. Blow up machines, I love it. And let's see. Listen, Jem, I'll be fine. Oh, Jean, you're saying it keeps freezing. Sorry about it could be, if you go on to, I think it's called solar.com or solar activity, or space.com, you get the solar activity. It could be that we're getting internet interruptions from solar flares. And remember, we've got all this energy in Aquarius. So we've got Mars, we've got Venus there. So Pluto, let's not forget, we've got Pluto there. So there could be breakdowns in electronics, and Mars could be causing this. Your two young adult girls, 18 and 19, yes, absolutely. Well, hopefully, Kirsty, the recording won't be crackly. Mackie, you watch them all twice, bless you. When you glitch, I glitch, but worse. Oh no. I'm just going ever so quickly But listen, I've been going for 1 hour and 10 minutes. I think that is quite long enough. And I think that it's time for me to have my supper. And thank you for all your well wishes. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your support, truth, authenticity, and love. Thank you for the live chat. Thank you to the people that watch and don't comment, because I'm aware of your presence and I'm really value the fact that you join and watch. Apologies if it's all funny, jerky stuff. It has to be solar flares. I can't think of any other reason, because most of the time it all flows beautifully. So I'm going to sign off. As I say, this week, think about being authentic and think about your relationships, especially leading up to Thursday with that Venus conjunct Mars in Aquarius. Think of what relationships you would like to address and make them better. Make them the best that they can be. Because, let's do it. Let's be the difference. That's a saying that a lot of people make. Let's be the difference that we need to see in the world, that we need to see in the collective, in the community at large. Aquarius is about the community at large. The sun is moving into Pisces tomorrow, so it's bringing the focus onto much more of the kind of Saturnian energies that Saturn, because Saturn is in Pisces. And, for those of you that have your sun in Pisces, some of you will have already experienced the sun, Saturn conjunct your sun, which will have been slowing you down, giving you kind of big thoughts about change, structure, narrowing things down, being more serious. But remember, Pisces is also about the higher energies and frequencies. It's about that spiritual side of us that is a very high frequency, that is so important for us to have a contact with, that can kind of flow through that crown chakra, open up that throat chakra, AMD, and open up all the other chakras so that we have that energy flowing to us and through us. So be the change that we want to see in the world. And for tonight, I'm going to say good night. Thank you for being here. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe, all those wonderful things. And I will see you next week at next week's live. And love you loads. I think you're all awesome and amazing. So here we go. I've got to go and click this. This is where it gets a bit techie and a bit complicated. So, right. Bye for now. No, yeah. End stream. It's not ending.